once again. You guys had some really cool ideas in the chat for Griff's bedroom, some of which I already had on the list, which was fun to see. So yeah, let's just jump right in. I'm starting completely from scratch. I haven't done anything yet. I found some reference images earlier and, you know, brainstormed what I wanted to do, but that's kind of it. So let's get started. I'm going to show you down some perspective points. Quiet voice. I'll move the mic a little bit closer and, you know, do that. Let's see if that... Thanks, Crispy. Let's see if this is a bit better. I'll try talking a little louder as well. I have a tendency to speak quietly. Okay. I'll take this one and I'm going to flip it. Over. And then just do a quick clipping mask to turn it bright blue. Is Krita really as hard to grasp as people make it out to be? Personally, I had a fine first experience. Music too loud for voice, either way, just down a touch. Okay. I haven't really used Krita very much, but I've heard people say it's very similar to Photoshop, and honestly Photoshop isn't that bad to use, in my opinion. I think any program has a bit of a learning curve that can be frustrating. But I don't think they'd be too bad. Okay, let me know if that's better. I brought the music down just a little bit. Okay, we're gonna lock these, so hopefully I don't accidentally start drawing on them again. Tree root shelves, that was one of the things that I was thinking of when I was brainstorming his bedroom. So his bedroom isn't on like the main floor of their den, it's on a lower level, so he wouldn't have any windows in his room. But I do like the idea of there being tree roots that just burrowed really deep underground. Let's throw down some shapes. Actually bump all of this down. We can have a bit of a clearer view here. I would imagine the walls in a den to be a bit rounded. Depending on how large his room was excavated out to be, he probably also have a target for axe practice or knife throwing. I don't think his mom would let him do that in the house. You know? I think she'd be a little strict about knife throwing in the house. Has there ever been an incident where a room collapsed in the wolf den? I would assume so when it was first being made, but it's like a multi-generational house, so it's solid at this point, and they're not adding any more new rooms onto it. Marshall, I guess you get strict about axes in the house after the first broken window. Probably, and like there's a lot of very small children running around, so I feel like axe throwing isn't the smartest move. Okay, I'm just gonna quickly clean this up. So we have some nice, perfectly straight lines here. Have you guys named all of the children? Yes. Yes, we have. I think I'm gonna place the door down about here. Go back to a normal pencil. Let's say the door is right here, and we can move it later if we need to. There actually is a wiki. There's a fan wiki that Dr. Dro started working on a while ago. And I don't think it's been updated in quite a while, but that was going on for a long time, and there are quite a few pages, but I don't think it's finished. Some wooden posts for structure, so let's actually add that in first so I don't have to adjust the furniture later. Probably some in the corners. Without spoiling anything, is it possible to ask what country Graycove is in, like pre-destination? It is in Canada. Yeah, just like Jasper said, Nox is the name of the familiar from a different series I was working on forever ago. The art is terrible, don't go read it. Called The Misadventures of Fia. I use the name Nox in both of them because that was my dog's name. So obviously she had to be in the comics. Okay. There would also be a post in this corner, but we don't want to actually draw one here because then it's going to be in the way. I think there would be some ceiling posts as well, but those are less important right now, and I'd rather jump into doing the furniture. Okay, so I'm thinking his bed would be kind of tucked in the corner. Maybe this one here. Let's just do some blocky shapes first, just to get everything situated and figure out the scale that I want to go with. Bed frame. Okay, please don't go read the comic. Eventually I'm gonna update it with a new art style. But right now it's rough. One annoying thing about deciding to put posts in the corners is that there's a weird gap behind the bed. So we might just do posts on the ceiling instead, because that is very annoying. Although we could move the bed so it's more like here, and there's a bit more of a gap so he could have something next to it. Actually, I think I'm gonna put it in this corner over here so we can see what's next to it on this side a bit clearer. Something like this. Bed not made up, just the top cover dragged over and made sheet so you could see the lumps. Yeah, I'm picturing he's not someone who makes his bed, ever. Okay, so I think it's something like this for the bed. And then I'd like him to have like a little wooden chest, so I think we'll put that at the foot of the bed. Third page of Fia speaks to me personally. I don't know which one that is. I haven't looked at it in a really long time. The centaurs one? Oh yeah. Oh, the werewolves on the moon. Yeah, no, I remember which one you're talking about as soon as you said centaurs. Okay, let the chest. And then I think he would have a desk or like a table. Let's put one here. I think this one, I want it to be a little bit rougher. Kind of an old table. How much did you guys have to pay to use this playlist of chill songs? Or we don't have to pay at all. We just have to make sure that we put a credit in our video description. And I'm not sure if we also had to have like the little music thing that's up in the corner over here, or if we just thought that was a good idea. But yeah, as long as you let the viewers know where the music is from, it's for free. I imagine Griff's room would be tidy but messy, like piles of clothes on the floor, but they're all folded and organized or something. No, I kind of picture him just being straight up messy. Like there's dishes left on tables, they're almost growing fur themselves, like sheets everywhere, piles of papers. I imagine Griff's room is full of mold. Do you have any tips for drawing large amount of art in short amounts of time? I've been trying to make a comic for the longest time, but the art's not that good. It takes forever to finish panels. Honestly, you kind of just have to keep practicing and pushing yourself to be able to draw faster. Like, it's kind of a practice thing. When I was in college, we had really short deadlines for paintings and projects and stuff like that. So if you didn't kind of kick your butt into gear while you're drawing and like trying to move really quickly, then you wouldn't be able to finish it in time. And it was really stressful. But it was a good way of kind of forcing yourself to learn how to draw quickly. Especially if you start doing like figure studies and timing them, so doing like 1 minute, 30 seconds, 15 seconds, 10 seconds, and seeing how quick you can get at it. So yeah, that's my recommendation. My goal with art is to get consistent with whatever style I stick with. I've gone okay at drawing side profiles of canines in about 10 minutes. Well, that's great. Made my first comic chapter over the summer. It was 22 pages, around 7 to 9 panels per page. It helped me a lot for future projects. Yeah, 100%. Any amount of time I've spent on any comic has kind of just helped me pick up new tricks and understand the style a bit better. Like the first chapter of Graycove and the second chapter and some of the third chapter are kind of rough. And it's been getting better as I've gone. And part of that is like when I started the first chapter, I didn't think anyone was going to read it. I was just kind of making it for fun. I didn't realize it was going to be my job. so I didn't give the panels the time that they needed. No, the first 3 chapters aren't rough because they have Slope-Nosed Hazel. Yeah, Jasper really likes that version of Hazel too. The problem with Slope-Nosed Hazel is that when I draw her side profile, it would kind of look like this. Or sorry, when I drew her front on, and she just looks so goofy. I was like, I need to make a couple of little adjustments. Okay, so there is a very rough table. Let's give him a dresser too. Something kind of basic. A bit lower. I've said it before, they don't really wear a lot of clothing. They only wear clothing if it's like practical, or like for a festival or something, and something like a costume. So like they would have winter clothes, they might have clothes for if it's raining out or like for bad weather. But they don't really have just like casual outfits or anything like that. So he would only need like a couple of drawers, nothing too crazy. I need to kind of draw through the bed. A mirror on top. Marshall, art question, thoughts on scratch lines? I've seen some people say that doing that is bad, but I want a professional opinion. I'm not really sure what you mean by scratch lines. Can you elaborate a little bit? Oh, look at this convenient sweater Russell just gave Hazel. I guess you don't have to try any more pack spots. Oh my, OMG, imagine Hazel venting and crying about her dead mom to you, but you have to hold in laughter because all you see is... Yeah, that would be really funny. Hatch lines? Yeah, do you mean like hatch lines like these? Luke means like unconfident, sketchy lines. No, unconfident, sketchy, just lots of thin lines over and over instead of one firm line. I think each practice has its time and place. I wouldn't necessarily say that one is better than the other. So like one thing that I do like to do when I'm sketching out characters is putting on a really thin line and just kind of like continuously adding to it and like adding more details and things like that, because if you're using a really thick line, then that just gets bogged down so quickly and it gets messy and it's hard to see and you can't differentiate anything. So it can be extremely helpful, especially if you're doing something that's a bit more complicated and you kind of want to go back and kind of sculpt away at it. But then confident lines can also be fantastic because, you know, you're learning kind of the confidence of just drawing as few lines as you need to get something across. So both are excellent options. It really just depends on what you want to do. It's good to practice a bit of both. But yeah, if you want to do thin lines, do thin lines. No one can tell you what to do with your art. Unless you're in an art class and you're getting graded, then maybe listen to the people telling you to do stuff, but saying that there's one universal rule for art is not really true. I mean, if it's something like, hey, don't put acrylic paint on top of oil paint, then that is true. You shouldn't do that because it's going to peel off. But like, really, if you enjoy doing something and you find it helpful, then go for it. Alright, gotta go. Okay, bye, Luke. The only universal rule is in practice is to keep creating. Yeah, exactly. And like, I've been in a lot of art classes since childhood. Like a bunch in elementary school, private classes, college classes, and I find every single teacher's gonna have different advice for you. So you can kind of, once you get to a certain point, pick and choose what you want to listen to. And it's good to start with like a strong foundation, and that's where classes can be really helpful, but ultimately you should just make what you want to make, if you're doing it for fun. Keep creating even if it hurts, don't stop dancing. Excellent BoJack reference. Okay, what kind of chair should I give him? Probably be a pretty basic one. Go on a new layer so I don't mess up this table. Guys, can you turn the music down a little? Yeah. You got it. Let me know if that's good. The only time Hazel and Gryff will work together in harmony is when they beat up BoJack. Yes, absolutely, Beluga. The first rule is the one we talked about, gotta practice, and the second one is don't use AI generation. It is not helpful. You are just stealing from other artists. Don't do it. What do you think about The Amazing Digital Circus airing in theaters? At first I thought it was very strange, but I think it can be very monumental for indie creators to see them getting their project into a theater, where usually it's just like Hollywood produced movies that get in. Similarly with oh, why am I suddenly blanking on this? Iron Lung. Similar with Iron Lung getting into theaters, and how much success that it had on its release, and how just generally loved it was when it came out. So I think that's really cool. I don't think they're playing it anywhere near us, unfortunately, because that is one I would probably go see in theaters, just to show some support to indie animators. And also because I like the show. It's interesting. Maybe he has like a little cushion on his seat. One step closer to Graycove, the movie appearing in theaters. Trust me, guys, it's gonna happen next year. I don't know if I could make a whole movie in a year. I do agree the stream is quiet. I have everything maxed out as much as I can on my end, so I don't think I can bump it up any more than that. I'll try wiggling the microphone because sometimes that helps the cord. much louder now? That's good. It might have just been the cord. The audio wiggle just did it. Okay, sorry guys. Okay, and I know I wanted some roots poking through the wall. Now the music is too quiet? Okay. Let me know if that's better. OMG via page 15. I don't know what page 15 is. Again, it's been a really long time since I've looked at any of it. Okay, just gonna kind of throw down some squiggles and hope that they look like tree roots. Page 16 is quite familiar. I'm guessing that's the one with the stool saying, like, go get me a stool, yelling at you from this height is demeaning, because I reused that one for Graycove. Yeah, 16 is the yelling stool. Sorry, next time if I notice it's like they'll say wiggle your mic. I also forgot about wiggling the mic. I don't know why that's the fix, but it is. I'm gonna quickly save because I don't think I've actually done that yet. There we go. I bet whenever someone opens Gryff's door, they're met with the foulest locker room scent ever. Probably. That's probably true. I grew up with an older brother and his room would get absolutely disgusting and very stinky, but part of that was because he would smoke weed and have weed hidden in his room and then try to cover up the smell by burning incense, and those two things do not mix well scent-wise. It was bad. It's coming up out of the ceiling here, and there's some like little cracks. Okay. I kind of picture Gryff like having shelves of knickknacks in his room. And being one of those guys that just kind of has a rock collection that he doesn't consider a rock collection because he would just find a rock and be like, that's cool, and just take it home. And now he just has a shelf of them. That is technically a rock collection, but he doesn't consider it like an actual proper rock collection. Shelves of nicotine. That'd be a really weird collection to keep. buy Gryff a cigarette advent calendar for the Bird Festival. Oh my god. The shelf is so close to the horizon line, it's just barely tilted upwards, and it's a really annoying angle. I prefer the more extreme ones and really subtle angles like this where you can just barely seeing the bottom of the shelf. Just kind of scrape that in. Get rid of these guidelines. Gryff eats his spaghetti with cigarettes. Mummified Trolls doll. See, I don't think Gryff would have any human stuff at this point in the story. He's been taught very strict anti-human stuff rules. So I don't think, like, I think his dad would have been negative enough about it that he just wouldn't think to collect anything really. What if I make it so whenever Hazel enters Gryff's room, she slowly takes damage, and if she doesn't get out in time, you get a game over? That's really funny. Like there's just like a poison cloud in the room. Okay. Yes. Let's throw down. Let's get rid of this root that's clipping through the shelf there. Yeah, does that mean Gryff is immune to poison damage in the game? He's grown an immunity by living in it. Let's draw some rocks. Is a special status condition called Gryff Gust. That's funny. Marshall, can you add a reference to the misadventures of Fia in Gryff's room? Maybe a comic in a box of contraband from Russell. That's funny. Maybe I'll consider that. I think he would have a favorite rock that is actually, or that's a fossil, but he doesn't really have the context for what it is. He just thinks it looks really cool. I'm pretty sure Gryff would burn that box. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't think Gryff would keep a box of contraband in his room. I think they would have to take that, like, to the barracks. Or, like, they'd have, like, a special place that they just keep all of it. like tucked away so they don't have to deal with it. Orthoceras fossil. Let me see what that looks like. I mean, I was gonna give him a bigger one than this, but he can have one of these. It's usually just like a little teardrop looking thing. Does Graycove have artists? If so, where do they get paints and inks? Graycove would have artists. Most of their art supplies would have to be from natural minerals, and like turning them into oil paints. They could use like charcoal, stuff like that. But they would also have a like Russell, I think, would run like a little black market of art supplies he'd be able to get his hands on that hopefully haven't completely dried up. Somehow managed to survive. Or can be restored. But yeah, there's lots of paints and stuff that you can make from natural minerals, so they would have to do that for the most part. Mummy Brown. Classic. Birdfly Griff is the heavy-hitting tank of the group, having a high defense and offense, but he is super slow compared to Hazel and Russell. Also, his wisdom and charisma is low. That feels right for his character. That feels pretty accurate to how we're making him in the comic. I mentioned the rock collection thing to Jasper earlier, and he said Gryff would be a crystal girl, and I kind of agree. If they found any, anyways. They could find some, like, quartz or something. I remember finding some when I was a kid. Crystal girly. Yeah. Put a little poster of Bernard here so that if Luke comes back later or watches the stream later, he gets sad. Marshall, you can level up Gryff. Wisdom is how much damage one takes from skill attacks, and charisma is the ability to land critical hits. Fair enough. What's the difference between hands and paws of these characters? Thumbs. Bully Luke Day when? Don't bully Luke. I'm not signing off on a bully Luke day. We gotta at least wait till he's 21 before we can play him. Oh wait, do they have glass? Yeah, they have glass. Okay. And then I think I want him to have a weapon rack for his axe. Maybe a few other weapons. Like the axe is his favorite, but he has others. I should probably look at a reference image for this. Right, okay. Oop, wrong button. There we go. I'm just gonna bump the roots down a bit. How old is Gryff? He's in his 20s. Like early to mid 20s. Hazel's 56. I can't be too upset that the misadventures of Fia stopped in 2021. Graycove is what got me into webcomics for the last year, and I've loved it. But also, you sure there's no more Fia? I might restart Fia, Misadventures of Fia again in the future. I would want to like completely redo the art style first. Stopping by on lunch to say hi, and I love your art and animations. Thank you. But yeah, it's just not a priority right now because we're working on Graycove, and then we had another story idea for a more serious webcomic. Our super secret project first. Yes, our super secret project first. Would love to see it. Marshall, will please keep some aspects of the wolf/demon. Oh yeah, for sure. The art style will probably be one of the things to change, but I don't think it would change that much. It's more so that I'd want to like clean it up and just kind of nail down an art style a bit better. So secret? Yeah, it's super secret. Marshall, do you think Hazel and Fia would get along? Absolutely. They would be best friends. Hazel was definitely heavily inspired by Fia's character because I liked making her as a character and her personality and all that stuff. So yes, they would get along wonderfully. Quartz crystals are the best, and if you explored a mall and found a kiosk that used to sell crystals of all sorts. Yeah, I feel like, I don't know about you guys, but if I found like an abandoned, just like new age store where they have like those walls and walls and walls of crystals, I would go nuts. Like, I don't really buy crystals. I have like a couple kicking around somewhere in the house, but I would absolutely go nuts if I found just a free source of crystals lying around. Insane lizard gonna find human book about crystal healing and think it's real. Okay, put some weapons on the rack on a different layer. Maybe we'll put his axe in the middle. I feel like because of its weight, you'd put it like blade side down. No, that wouldn't work. Maybe just kind of lean so it hooks on this post. Because it's kind of a weird shape. It's like a da-da-da-da-da with a thing on it. Drawing things from memory that I haven't drawn in a minute is always fun, because it shows just how bad my memory is. But I think this is solid. So yeah, maybe it's just like hooked along this post. Maybe hide Jack's unsolved Rubik's Cube somewhere. That's funny. Okay, let's put that right here on this shelf. I know I said I wasn't gonna give him human stuff, but that one's fine. It's small enough. I'm going now, bye. Okay, well thanks for joining us. Okay, you probably also have a stand for his armor. So let's move the weapon rack over so it's more tucked into the corner. Nope. That's not what I meant to grab. I meant to grab this. So let's shift this over here. There we go. A character art style that doesn't use gender markers is the best route. Yeah, that's kind of our goal with this, is because I get so mad watching any movie where it's like anthropomorphic cartoon animals, where like they give the female animals like a skinny waist and like big eyelashes and like the shape of having boobs even though they wouldn't have those, and like all that kind of stuff. It just weirds me out a lot. I remember someone showing a comparison between like Happy Foot and this really weird cartoon duck movie, and it just looked like it was one of those ones where it was like the duck had like the long eyelashes and like eyeshadow and like had the shape of having boobs, which is really weird to put on a duck, and I just hate that so much. So the only gender markers that we put on the characters are like antlers. So like Herb has antlers because male deer grow antlers, and that's kind of the only signifier of their gender until they use pronouns. Or like, yeah, that's about it. Yeah, just like what Jasper just said, the Argonians having breasts in Skyrim is so stupid because they're lizards. Yeah, exactly. Like, lean more towards what an animal normally looks like, in my opinion. Because when you go too far on the human side, to me it just looks really weird. Like, to each their own, but that's just me. Actually, I want to move these shelves over. They're a little too far to the left. I want them to be more over top of the desk. Did that again. The fang deer, though, who works at Makin's, only the boys have tusks, explain yourself. Honestly, that one was an accident, and you know that, Jasper. I thought that all fang deer had tusks. And I think it was because there was one really specific species that does, like the females and the males have tusks. But like I got them mixed up, so that was me messing up, but I also just really like the look of the like deer with fangs is cool to me. So like that can be an unintentional trans character, or we can just pretend that that species of deer, all of them get to have tusks. Either way. Yeah, they can be trans. That's cool. It makes me feel bad when it's accidental trans representation of like it was an accident and it wasn't necessarily my intention. Not to say that I wouldn't have trans characters in the comic, because I absolutely would, but it feels like that should be something that was a purposeful decision and not just an accident, you know? But yeah, that can be a trans character. Feels a little less forced though. Yeah, fair enough. Representation or mutation accident, either one works. Not gonna lie, off topic here, but we do need more indie animation shows that generally made for kids. Fair enough. I don't really pay a ton of attention to what indie projects that are for kids are coming out, so I don't know how many there are compared to ones for adults. Graycove definitely isn't intended for children. And like obviously that comes across in the comics because there's, you know, cursing and there's some violence and stuff like that. I don't know if I actually said what I'm working on right now. I'm making a rack for his armor, for if he takes it home. Yeah, I don't know if I ever would work on a kids show or a kids series specifically. I would like to make a kids book one day, and like do illustrations for that, but I just don't know the proper way to write for kids, and I don't really know how to write for a specific age group, and what goes into that, and like, you know, that kind of stuff. And I feel like I would do a bad job of it, you know? There we go. Eventually I want Gryff to have like a proper like full suit of armor, but at the current point, like right now he's just a guard, so he just has the guard uniform and like very basic armor that it's kind of like a security guard's uniform where it doesn't give you full protection, but it gives you the air of authority. But yeah, and I designed some at some point for him. I don't remember where I put that though. Okay, I think that's a solid base. I should probably add some details to his bed and lower it a bit. This is really high. Or add... yeah, that makes more sense. What if Gryff let his younger siblings leave paw prints on his wall/bed? Yeah, I could see there being some on his wall. They could have been from him when he was younger, or like having the little tick marks from getting taller over the years. I was planning on like having some toys or something on his floor that his siblings would have left in there. Does Vance have a full suit of armor? Yes, he would. Same with the guard captain. Anyone with a really high rank would have proper armor. Let's give him some taller posts. Are pants illegal? No, pants are not illegal. Hey, Microwave. Well, thank you for stopping in. Always nice to see ya. Muddy paw prints like Spider Pig. Yeah, he just lifted one of his little siblings up to the ceiling. His bread frame would be pretty simplistic. I don't think it'd be too crazy. What if the rest of the comic is about Macon and the story revolves around how awesome Macon is? You guys really latched onto him. We haven't really built up his character that much, beyond just like, yeah, he runs this store, or this kind of like a deli where Gryff really likes to eat. Is that a mirror? Yes, mirror. Yeah, you guys really like his character, so we might have to show him more than we were planning on in the future. I mean, we're already planning on having their like other scenes where they go to get lunch and stuff like that, because that's Gryff's favorite spot. No more Graycove, we do Macon's cooking show now. Prince from Nox's abandoned spider hunt. Cute. I mean, we did say we might do other chapters like that are like a day in the life of blank, similar that we did for Herb and the life of the matriarch, so we might do one for Macon. Okay. Okay. Pillow. feels like someone who'd have multiple pillows. Like one is kind of fallen off the bed. Another one here. Maybe a little one kind of squished behind them. Marshall, if the character is kind to the main characters once, then the fandom will care for them relentlessly. That's a good point. Yeah, you guys really do like latching onto like minor characters that we haven't really planned out, like Maykin, Ruskin. We showed the deer girl in that one short and everyone just loves her. The dingo. Marshall, would Griff's family use ink to mark each of their family members' paws on a piece of parchment? That seems like a family thing. Yeah, that feels like something they would do. Okay, let me find. Okay. Now I'm gonna do my best to draw a really messy blanket on the bed. Surprisingly not horrible. Maybe some sheets. I imagine Griff has doodled what he wants his full guard armor to look like while daydreaming a slight power fantasy. Yeah. Yeah, I could see him doing that, especially when he was younger. Maybe younger if Griff now just wants his axe, which was taken from him by Marshall. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, the entire reason that we took his axe away for that comic page is because I didn't want to have to draw it when he tackles Jack. And I just thought that would be funny, like such a weird punishment of he's just gonna get it back again later. Yeah, I was drawing out the panels and I was drawing the one where he was tackling Jack and I was like, I don't want to have to draw his axe at this angle. It would fall out. It would be really dangerous also, just a loose axe while you're tackling someone. So like, let's remove that. He lost his axe. It was confiscated. Let's see. What else? I think the floors would be pretty cold because they're underground, so I think I'm gonna give him a couple of rugs. Let's make a new one. And he's a messy guy, so maybe this corner flipped over and he just hasn't fixed it yet. So what was up with Vance telling Hazel they saw the resemblance? I don't want to get into that in specifics because I don't want to spoil anything. However, I will say that Vance has never met Daisy. So take from that what you will. Starting to see the resemblance. You look exactly like a big gray rock with a name on it, idiot. Savage. Would there be good hyenas that live in normal animal society? Yeah, absolutely. It's just that specific group of hyenas that are, like, they're not completely 100% villains. They're definitely harsher in the way that they live, but there would be other groups of hyenas that live completely differently. A lamp for a source of light. That's a good idea. I haven't included any lighting yet. I had some ideas that I put in this folder. Where did they go? There they are. Okay, so I think he would have a couple of candles on his wall. Oops. Do you think that there has been hyenas in the Matriarchs group that left? Are they allowed to leave? I mean, yeah, I don't think they would necessarily be stopped if they decided that they didn't want to live there anymore. Yeah, so I think if they really wanted to leave, they could. It's very family centric. Of like the matriarch's main concern are her children, and she kind of considers her entire clan to be her children. So they would definitely pressure them out of leaving, but I don't think that they would fully stop them or kill them for trying to leave. Something kind of like this. It's like some candles in it. Some larger ones so that they'd burn longer. Yeah, kind of like what Jasper said, there would be a large variety in different groups and cultures all over the place. We're only looking at this specific one, but like they would have a very wide variety that wouldn't necessarily have anything to do with like the specific species of animal they are. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't, so it kind of depends, but like we have a lot of different ideas in mind that we would like to show at some point. But like Graycove is the focus at the moment. Actually, no, that's too close. Let's do this corner, this corner. And yeah, like Crispy said a while back, there'd be a bunch of loose fur all over the bed. Gryff would probably shed a lot. Maybe on his dresser there's like a brush. Because he has really thick fur. Turpentine is a product of heating pine sap to boiling, then distilling the vapors. That's kind of cool. I didn't know that. Actually, who are the Matriarch's biological children? Any unnamed ones we haven't seen? She would have a couple. I think when I was planning it out, I wanted her to have like 6 biological children. The only named one that we've seen in the comic is Foster. But she does have a number of kids. Biological kids, I should say. Okay. I don't really have any space on this wall for another candle. And that's fine, but maybe he has a light on his desk here. So maybe we'll do like a candlestick or something. OMG, I didn't think about the hair. I have 2 German Shepherds and the hair is terrible. Yeah, my dog Knox was a German Shepherd Husky mix, and in the spring she would shed so much. Like, it would come off of her in tufts. You'd have to brush her every single day to keep up with it. Hey, Alex. Okay. I think we're getting close to the point of being able to start cleaning things up and adding some details. What do you think should go up on this shelf? Actually, I was gonna give him an instrument. I haven't done that yet. So how about that can be something up here? Oops, I put the candles on the rugs layer. That's okay. It can stay on rugs, it doesn't matter. Jaw harp would be metal, but it's not what I had in mind for him. It's gonna be laying on its side, I think, because that makes the most sense. Crispy paid us $2 for a trombone, I think. Unfortunately, it's not going to be a trombone. I already had something picked out, and I'm going to be honest, I picked it out and then I completely forgot the name of the instrument. So if anyone can call it out, that would be great. Because I wanted something a bit simpler. Nothing too crazy. Oh, you just thought the trombone would be funny? That's fair. I feel like Russell would be an amazing xylophone player, like orchestra level good. Fair enough. Russell placed the spoons and ham bones upon his knee, I think. Okay, and then maybe we give him like $2 on this top shelf. He doesn't really strike me as a big reader, but maybe he has a couple just laying around. A little bookend. Yeah, I can't remember the name off of the top of my head, but I saw a video of someone playing one recently and I thought the sound was really interesting. So I thought that fit. And I don't think it would be too crazy or like technical for them to make. Okay. I think we have a pretty solid rough going for us now. So let's start cleaning it up. We shall start in the corners. How to disrespect your new coworker on their first day, woman edition. Oh my god. Ever seen a reflector candle sconce? Oh, that's a good idea. Let me look one up real quick to see what they look like. Yeah, so maybe there's just like a simple, like they cut off here, but then there's just kind of a simple plate behind it. It kind of curves inward and helps reflect the candlelight a little bit more. I feel like Hazel plays some sort of harp since it has a light stringy timbre but wouldn't require precise finger placement. Yeah, I feel like deer would have a hard time, or like any hooved animal would have a hard time playing instruments because they only really have, like, they have like a thumb and then 2 fingers. And that's not a whole lot to work with. Like, it can be done, don't get me wrong, but like I don't think they would be the best at like piano. Give her a kazoo. I can definitely picture her finding a kazoo and just immediately going, oh man, this is gonna piss off Gryff so much. I can't wait. Or a harmonica, yeah. That would also work. Okay, we gotta move this candle down. Once I remember which layer it's on. There it is. Oh no, she is the kazoo kid. Marshall, what words would have adopted their own meaning in Graycove, like how ketchup used to mean something else, but now it specifically stands for tomato ketchup? Any Graycove equivalent? I mean, they have parachute. But I haven't really considered that, so I don't really know off of the top of my head. Ketchup would be something like tomato paste or tomato cream, or just like tomato sauce. Something along those lines. They might not have the word ketchup. Or just, would you like tomato with that? And everyone knows that means the sauce and not the fruit. Or they just hand you the fruit. It's like, would you like a tomato with your meal? Good stuff. Here you are. I'm not gonna lie, how to color in Krita, because every time I try to color in, it always gets messed up. If you haven't learned about them yet, clipping masks can be really helpful. So basically, when you're coloring something in, let's say it's this circle, then you only have to do one kind of base layer where you have to stay in the lines. So I'm doing this very lazy, but... and then you make a clipping mask on top of the flat coloring layer. Where is it? And then anything that you color on that layer is going to stay in the circle. See? So that can be really helpful sometimes if you don't feel like having to stay in the lines the entire time. What is this layer? It's something. I use reference layers. Yeah, reference layers work. Some people like using the magic wand tool to quick select. I find it doesn't get the edges quite right, so that it always annoys me. Are there any carnivorous type animals that decided to be vegetarians? I'm sure there are kinds that are like omnivores that decided to be vegetarians, but obligate carnivores would die if they didn't eat meat. It's kind of like when people try to force their pet cats, to be vegetarians. That just doesn't work in the long run. You're kind of just slowly starving them. Because they're not getting the nutrition that they need. Oh yeah, I just fixed the magic wand tool in the settings and it fixes the edge problems. Yeah, that's completely fair. I kind of like manually going in and coloring and filling it all in, because that's usually when I find mistakes. So anyone who's a member on Ko-fi or Patreon and gets to see the line art might notice differences in the line art between that and what's shown on Webtoon, because coloring is usually when I find any little small mistakes or things that need to be adjusted. That's just for myself though. If the magic wand is works for you, then that is wonderful. I think a while ago Jasper tried to give me the same advice of there's got to be a faster way to color these in. I was like, there definitely is. But I like doing it this way because that's how I find where I messed up. No, I will now do your method because I'm easily influenced. I assumed it was a joke, Crispy. I mean, if you try my method and it works for you, that's great. But you don't have to draw the way I draw. Although we were thinking at some point of making a style guide or a how-to for drawing in the Graycove art style. So just kind of those step-by-step how to draw books. And having detailed descriptions on the side. But I don't have time for that right now. How would I make that? You wouldn't make it, but you would proofread it for me. Can I get one of those for the Fia style? The Fia style's not good. If I fix the Fia style, then maybe. I say lots of weird stuff as a joke, I gotta make sure. Yeah, Jasper likes to do that to me as well in real life, and he'll say it with a straight face. And sometimes I have a really hard time knowing if he's joking or not. And he really likes to mess with me. Sometimes I have to check with him. Hi, this is the first Graycove stream I've been to. Well, hello! Thank you for joining us. We're currently designing Gryff's bedroom. We're just cleaning it up a bit. Yeah, I'm cursed with being artistic. I don't pick up on all of Jasper's jokes. Do you have any favorite storytime animators on YouTube, like Chip Flake, Rebecca, Parham, Jaden, etc.? I don't really specifically watch any of them. I have seen some of Jaden's animations, like on TikTok and stuff, and I do find her stories to be really funny. I like, usually if they pop up, I'll watch those. But I don't really specifically go looking for them. But yeah, Jaden's stuff is really cute. I love your art. I think the shorts can be very funny. When I'm sad, I'll watch some other YouTube videos, but I'm like, time to watch some M.A. Marshall. Gotta look up a short I've seen. Well, that's nice. Thank you. Most of the characters can't eat chocolate, right? Yeah, probably not. I haven't really thought about it too much. I don't know if they would be able to access chocolate at all. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that'd make them pretty sick. Yeah, because I don't know where they would get the cocoa from. I was wondering in the recent shorts who was the mice, mouse, or rat in with the pink dots. I don't think we specifically named that one. There are a couple of like mouse characters that we've sprinkled throughout the comics as well, and they'll probably become more relevant later on. Yeah, we haven't really specifically named them yet. From me, I'll give it to them. And then you'll have Griff's blood on your hand because he can't eat chocolate. Marshall, it's maybe good to say they can eat stuff they normally can't, but just in case you haven't researched their diets. You know, I think for the most part, like their diets would have changed a little bit as they evolved. So like, for example, foxes would be able to eat cooked meat instead of having to eat raw meat. But I don't think, like, things that they absolutely can't eat, I think would remain the same. So like chocolate, where it's like they would have a very severe reaction, or like dogs not being able to eat grapes. Stuff like that. I'm cleaning my room and watching your voice is very calming. Yeah, I've gotten that feedback a couple of times. I had a lady tell me that at my old retail job. She came in and she called in on the phone earlier, and she said, I talked to a person with a very calming voice. We need more Jasper representation in these streams. Marshall's voice is calming, but so is Jasper's. Yeah, I tried getting him to talk more during the Minecraft stream, but he didn't want to. Sounds like someone about to get lured by a fae. Does that imply that I'm gonna get lured by a fae, or I'm a fae that's gonna lure someone? I'll look up a reference for messed up fabric later. I'm not good at doing it off the top of my head. If their stomachs evolved, then I believe that if Gryff or any evolved canine would eat chocolate, at worst they'd get bad cramps or indigestion. Yeah, or like, you know, they might have like flu, some to be throwing up or something for an hour or two and then be okay. I think this is a good time for me to take just a quick break to get some water and stuff because my throat's starting to get a little dry. So I will be right back. Okay, that's a bit better. So let's hop back into it. And I was thinking for this trunk and maybe a couple other pieces of furniture, that maybe like Lee or someone did some like little paintings and stuff on them. So I might add some cute little designs. I'll give the chest one of those clasps that can have a lock on it, but I don't think you'd actually have a lock on it. Okay, so maybe she painted like some plants or something. Just add a little detail, you know? I just finished the sunroom in the Minecraft realm. It's cute. Nice. Jasper is my co-author, Junior. So he helps me with creating all of the Graycove stuff. He's also the one who made the plush designs that we have available. We currently only have Russell available, but the Hazel design's gonna be up in May. Just checked out the new page, hoping to see Iris put Vance in his place. That's funny. Chocolate would be a rare treat the traders would have to bring up the coast from Central and South America, making it a luxury item, so special ordered for special occasions. Yeah, that's fair. I feel like that's something only like rich people or like the king would be able to afford, if that's something that they would trade for. Leaves designs going across like this. I think that's good. I don't think we need to completely cover the chest in paintings and stuff, but it'd be kind of cute if one of the siblings had painted on some of the furniture. Such a dainty looking chest. Yeah, that's why I think like one of his siblings probably painted on it. It's not necessarily Griff's style, but he wouldn't get rid of it. Question: if you had the power to erase any fictional book, what would it be? I don't really know. Maybe like Twilight. I don't know. I'm having a hard time thinking of any specific fictional books that I particularly hate enough that I wouldn't want it to even exist. Oh yeah, the J.K. Rowling turf book. Never mind, that's the answer. If you erased Twilight, we would have never met. That was what I was thinking of the second I said it, of like, I just remembered your Twilight story. So yeah, the J.K. Rowling turf book, that's the one I would choose. I don't know the title. I don't remember the title off the top of my head. She wrote it under a different pen name, I believe. And it was like a mystery thriller type book. You can look it up. It should come up if you Google her. You know, I wouldn't get rid of Harry Potter. That was my childhood. I don't care for the author now as an adult because of what she's been doing in recent years. But I still have a nostalgia for the Harry Potter series. Right, Robert Galbraith was the pen name that she used for it. And yeah, she named it after the guy who invented electroshock conversion therapy or some other form of hate crime. If I were to preserve a book franchise, then it would be a series of unfortunate events. That is an excellent choice. I think I only read books 1 to 3, and for some reason like book 10, because we had to do like reading time in class in elementary school, and it was the only option left, and it made no sense. I had no idea what was going on. But it, like, the original movie that they made for it when I was a kid was one of my favorites. I had the game on GameCube, and like I just remember I loved the the reptile room, and like Dr. Montgomery. Like everything about that was so cool. And in the video game it was even cooler. You had the game? It was so good. I still love that game. I would play it to this day. There's like a piano sequence in the main house, I think near the start of the game, in like the first act of the game, whatever. And oh man, I loved that part. I loved doing the piano part. I never got past Lachrymose Lake. I never got past where you have to like shoot peppermints at bad guys at the start of the Lachrymose Lake. I had a really hard time with that for some reason as a kid, and I'd have to get my brother to do it for me. I could probably do it now as an adult. I haven't played it in many years, but I might play it now because I'm getting the nostalgia for it. But like that was one of my favorite movies when I was a kid. It was awesome. I'm pretty sure I made Jasper watch it with me a couple years ago. You used an emulator? Stream maybe? Maybe in the future. I still have the disc for it for GameCube. We don't have a GameCube because the one I had when I was a kid, like it broke or something happened to it. It was busted. But we have a Wii, and you can play GameCube games on a Wii. Yeah, oh, man, now I really want to watch that, or I really want to play that game. Marshall, how's your day? Is it going good? And I have a quick question that I have been asking for a while. What do you think of my name, Junior? I think Junior's a fine name. I don't really have particularly strong feelings for it one way or another. But it's good. My day is fine. I'm doing this. Pretty sure since you own the GameCube one, we could legally run it on Dolphin emulator on your computer. Maybe? I don't know. I don't know how that works. I don't know how entertaining watching me play a very old series of unfortunate events game would be for anyone except Crispy and me. But that would be fun. Marshall, I will be seated. Do you think all fandoms are bad? No, I don't think so. I think some fandoms can get really toxic, especially towards like creators or actors if they don't like how the series is going, but like I think in general, like all the fans we have in Graycove have been really, really nice, and like we have a good fandom going so far. But I've definitely seen, like, especially when I was a teenager, like, fandoms that got really weird and toxic. So, like, I think it depends. Nah, I'm a pretty bad fan guy. Nah, you're a good fan, Crispy. You're making a whole video game that's still crazy to me. The rug kind of folded and creased and it's not laid out flat. Crispy is the worst at being a bad fan. Exactly. And you're the first Hazel guy we've had. And we needed a Hazel guy because everyone so far has been favoriting Griff and Russell. Whitewash the walls to seal them from moisture and make the room brighter. You know, his walls are gonna be stone. Like a really rough cut stone. This one in the corner is also folded back. Is the stream lagging or is that just for me? I mean, everything on my end looks fine. Frame per seconds looks good. It might just be on your end, I'm not sure. Any Hazel critique can be rebutted with, she's just a girl, leave her alone. Yeah, exactly. You get it. Nightbean will be in the game, I can promise you that. Excellent. Is she gonna be a bad guy or is it like an NPC you can interact with? Or because she's supposed to be a superhero, she just like shows up in the middle of a fight. She'll be a major difficulty spike that'll make any player rage quit. Nice. The stream has been lagging for me. Yeah, sorry dude, I can't help you with that. It might be your internet. Room looks cool so far. Are those fossils? Yes. Let me back up so you can see everything we've done so far. We're in the cleaning up stage right now. I'm probably gonna add some more little details later. But yeah. I think we made some good progress so far, and we've got like another hour on the stream, so we should be able to finish the cleanup. Bad guy at first, but will eventually be good. You find her in the hyena area of the game. She's just there next to like 20 defeated hyena guards or something. Nice. That sounds cool. bad guys and she fights the team all in a misunderstanding. That's valid. Nightbeam is the secret antagonist of Graycove. Yeah, Nightbeam is secretly causing all of the disappearances. She's gonna be the final boss. Thought about Adventure Time? I haven't watched the entire Adventure Time series. I've seen a lot of it from various points across the show's timeline. And it seems really interesting, and one day I would like to sit down and watch all of it. Obviously not in one sitting, it's super long. But yeah, it's a really cool show. I like it. She ate Bernard in one bite. Nightbeam, you can't make people disappear. Can't a girl have hobbies? We did just lose a bunch of viewers though. I can't actually see the view count while we're streaming, so I never know how we did until after the fact. Because I'm only keeping YouTube open while I'm streaming. It's better that way? Yeah, I agree. I don't want to get stressed out by the numbers. Bruh, I just said I don't want to get stressed out by the numbers. We might have had some people lose connection. Yeah, I'm not really sure. Like I said, I can see like the CPU, frames per second, all that kind of stuff. Dropped frames on my streaming the OBS, and it looks like it's fine. Control save, good idea. I like the desk, thought there would be more weapons or nerd stuff, lol. I mean, I have the axe over here. I'm gonna add some more weapons to this weapon rack. I feel like rocks count as nerd stuff. There'll be some more stuff. I'm gonna add some more stuff to the walls later. Do some like family photos, that kind of stuff. Marshall's responding to things we talked about in chat like 10 to 15 minutes ago, but that's normal. Maybe it is lagging. Marshall can confirm that everything is fine with the stream. There's occasional buffering every 5 to 8 minutes, but it's so brief that it's hardly worth noting. Fair enough. There's nothing I can really do to fix it if there is a problem. What's the link for? I think that's for the Graycove wiki, because we were talking about it earlier. Marshall, would exposure therapy help? If so, do an internet search for pi and read out the numbers till they're less stressful. I hope you do actually play the Series of Unfortunate Events game. I feel like it's a good weird change up for the stream. We might. I'm thinking about it. We don't want to do gaming streams too often. But that could be pretty fun. And it would be nice to experience the nostalgia again. Not that I try to speedrun the game, but I do feel like I could play through that game really quickly because I have played it so many times. Like, it's only the last part at the lake that I'm bad at. Marshall, I'll give you $20 to make up in loss in viewership. Don't worry about it, Crispy. You don't have to do that, but that's very kind. Stream is good. Rocks or something I would see up in Griff's alley of interest. Fair. Marshall, could game streams once a season be a Patreon benefit? I don't know. I'm not sure. I like having them available for people to watch and join in if they want to. Anything to make the stream possible. You got it. I'll add it to the list. We'll look into how to do it. Voting on the game to play could also be a Patreon benefit if it helps make up for the drop in viewership. Yeah, I don't know if I'd want to do that either. I don't know how many people would really want to do that. I think we only have like 9 people on Patreon right now. And like most of them are like the free members, so I don't want to leave up the streams to the whims of like 3 people. Completely respectable, just giving ideas. For sure, and feel free to always give ideas. we just like most of it being accessible. Like the Patreon stuff is kind of just extra stuff. It's not part of the comic necessarily. It's just like added bonus stuff. Wait, you should just add the Graycove animatics in the corner of the series of unfortunate events stream, like the Subway Surfers footage, that way viewers stay. I mean, I'm curious to see how long, because like we have quite a few shorts now, and I'm curious how long it would run for if we just started at the very first one and played through them all. Just back to back. But I feel like the overlapping audio would get really annoying because it's like audio from the video game and then also audio from the shorts. It would get really confusing. Marshall, can't believe you're calling the Russell plush unnecessary for the comic. Who's your favorite actor for Lemony Snicket himself? I don't really. I have nostalgia for the original movie, but I can agree that the Netflix guy fits the Lemony Snicket vibe really well. However, Jim Carrey will always be Count Olaf to me. He was the perfect Count Olaf. He nailed that role. Like, no one else could replace him, in my mind. I would pay on Patreon, but I am happy you're giving this much content out to all of us for free. Yeah, like we don't want the Graycove comic or these streams to be behind a paywall. That just doesn't feel good to us. So like the Patreon is more like if you want to show support and also get some like little things on the side, get to see the comic early, then it's an option. But yeah, we don't want to lock the comic away so it's not accessible. I love Neil Patrick as Olaf. He has his strengths, but I would have loved to see Jim Carrey in the Hostile Hospital. Yeah. I don't think I got super far in the TV show. I don't remember exactly where I got to. I think they had gotten to like an academy or something around this time I stopped watching. So I haven't actually finished it yet. Like I said, I just had so much nostalgia for the original that I had a hard time watching the remake. Not to say that it isn't good, I'm just very biased. That's season 2, oh yeah. Let's do the chef next. Oops. Probably need to get some sleep sometimes. I may leave before the stream ends. That's fine. You've been here for quite a while. We appreciate you joining us. It's near to midnight for me. Oof. Yeah, it's only like 9 p.m. for us. For some reason, rocks are both really easy and really difficult to draw. Like, they're so simple. Are there tickets to the 3D Hazel Room, by the way? I want to spend my summer vacay in there. Yes, but they're $1 million each. In cash. Sorry if this question has been asked and answered, but what is your stance on shipping in your comic and or one-offs outside of it? I mean, if people want to ship characters, like, that's your business. We don't really have an issue with it. We are firm in our stance that Graycove is not gonna be a, like, romance. There aren't really gonna be any relationships that aren't already pre-established, because it's not the main focus. It's not what really it's for. It's supposed to be like a mystery series. But like, we already have people writing fan fiction and stuff, and like, go for it. We don't have any strong feelings. We don't want to see like for people making fan art, we don't want to see anything that's like inappropriate or not safe for work, really, but like, do what you want to do otherwise. Also just had to ask, LOL. Fair enough. Like, ultimately, at the end of the day, we can't really stop you. You know? And it would be silly to try to. Alright, Crispy, just for that, cancel your band. Get out of here. I just found the Series of Unfortunate Events game. Nice. For PC. Excellent. Marshall, would Herb have been teased when younger and shedding his antlers? No, I don't think so. That's a normal process that every single, like, buck would have to go through. Like, it's a seasonal thing. So I don't think they would necessarily be teased for it. Although probably other non-deer species would find the, like, meat hole on their head kind of gross from when they like are freshly fallen off, because it is kind of gross to look at, to be honest, and they'd probably wear like a handkerchief or something across it. Never heard of that before. Yeah, if you look up like freshly shed deer, they have like a little concave into their head where the antler was, and it's really gross looking. What Hogwarts house would Hazel, Griff, and Russell be in, by the way? Okay, I think Hazel would either be a Hufflepuff or a Ravenclaw. I think Russell would either be a Ravenclaw or a Slytherin, and I think Griff would be a Gryffindor. No other option. Yeah, Gryffindor. But also it just suits his personality, I think. Hazel wouldn't let Griff hear the end of that Gryffindor pun. You are correct. She would bring that up often. You weren't wrong, weird meat hole, right? They're weird looking when they lose their antlers. It's gross. I get it, but you. Good news, we're not on the site. Excellent. Good to hear. One chapter you should have a close-up shot on Herb's antler and super detailed like a SpongeBob close-up shot. Oh yeah, they're gross-ups. Those are always fun. I've had to do gross-ups for Red Pants Productions because I work for them as well. And they're both fun and not fun to draw. looks like a crossbow on the top shelf. Maybe you can copy crossbow design. It's not a crossbow, it's an instrument. It's this part is a bow for the instrument. Ooh, Junior, if you are 10, you definitely shouldn't be reading the webcomic. Gryff the musical artist, who would have thought? Yeah, I think you would just do it casually for fun sometimes. It wouldn't necessarily be the best, but it would be a fun hobby. Yeah, we're in agreement, Wolf. Graycove is not child friendly, and they could be an adult lying about being a 10-year-old. I don't know why they would do that, but I don't think a 10-year-old should necessarily be joining us on stream. That was weird. So anyways, the game alpha is almost done. I just need to expand the map a bit for exploration, code for wrestle and enemies, and overall do some polish. Nice! That's so exciting! Also, I'm 6. I didn't know 6-year-olds knew how to code, and that's crazy. Still loving these extra details you're giving us into Gryff. Makes me appreciate more than a brute in the comic. Yeah, that's one reason why I like designing characters' bedrooms a lot, is you can see really clearly into who they are as a person, what they enjoy doing, what their priorities are. And that just, for me, makes doing background design really, really fun. Jasper, you're abusing your power again. Although that was really funny. Cute. Okay. Just need to quickly look something up. Okay. Oh, you'd be really cute if Gryff had a matching sword with Jack. But like just generally prefers his axe, but like adorable. To me anyways, maybe I'm the only one. Yeah, no, I'm glad you asked, Tiger Water, because we don't want really young children to be on stream, and I was starting to get a little uncomfortable with some of the stuff that he was saying, because it did sound like a younger person. So appreciate it. Great comic, been a fan for over a year now. This is the first time I joined the live chat, and I'm going to join more soon. Keep up the great work with the storytelling. Thank you! It's always nice to hear. Yeah, that's why Jasper said check your phone, because he was texting me. To see if we should ban. I might have the ability from my end. Yeah, I don't know. It's easier if Jasper handles that side of the streaming stuff. Yeah, I do. I didn't actually look for the button, but it's nice when Jasper does that so I can keep drawing. Yeah, no, I agree. I think the streams are fine for 16 plus. But yeah, because like we try not to swear or talk about anything inappropriate, you know. But yeah, the comic is not for children. Oh yeah, I think I've read some of Doghouse too, or however it's pronounced. I don't think I've read all of it, but I read some of it and I liked it. It was good. You should make chili dogs for dinner. I don't think we have bread, dude. We definitely don't have hot dog buns, but I don't think we even have bread in the house right now. Me and the creator pals. Oh nice, of Doghouse? That's cool. I don't remember how I came across them. I think I saw some of it came up on like Pinterest or something. And then I looked it up on Webtoon because I was curious. Oh no, I took over your friend's game. If they know, tell them I said sorry. Make it a collab. Oh yeah, you could add some of the characters for like NPCs or enemies or something. No, it's okay. Your comic was simply just scratch my brain more. Well, that's nice. Can I have some chili dogs? Just smush it through the screen, please. I think that'd be bad for my laptop. I'm not an expert, but I don't think you're supposed to do that. Hazel beating up Maggie, let's go. Follow New Vegas, but Graycove characters. Nice. Should remember that if we do another AU stream. Okay, but why is that my problem? Well, then we can't do the series of unfortunate events stream, so ultimately, in the long run, you suffer. This weapon rack is very rough. I'm gonna have to give it another once over later to make sure the angles are right, but this is fine for now. Yeah, the RPG just turns into Hazel beating up various indie comic main characters. The one with the swords looks the best to sob in. I don't know, this looks like a good nook. It's next to the bed so you can lean. This corner looks a little sharp. Agree with Marshall on the sobbing corner. I know what's up. I know the best place to cry. Hazel can beat anyone because I am temporarily writing her. She can solo Omni-Man should my script call for it. Hell yeah. One day I should just change my profile picture to a rainbow spinny hat and start speaking in OU language. Yeah, you're gonna get banned for that one for sure. We should do a what if superhero AU of Graycove. Yeah, that could be fun. Could hold on to that one for the next AU stream. What do you mean, Marshall? Banned. Ban him, Jasper. I have declared it. Don't actually ban. I was joking. If we ban Crispy, we definitely won't get the game. And I really want to see it. Cute. Oh, I forgot this rug. I'll go back to Doghouse and code Maggie beating up Hazel. Sweet. Okay. Dogs don't get pillows. Pillows on Griff's bed, take at your own risk. Yeah, they'd probably be pretty smelly and covered in fur. Speaking of, let's add some. End the stream already. There's 3 more minutes and we're gonna be out of here. So if you have any questions, now's the time. I know you're joking, but we are at the end of the stream now. I think we did some pretty solid work for 3 hours. There's definitely some stuff I'm gonna adjust a little bit. And there's some stuff I want to add that I kind of forgot about. Like I wanted to add some of his little siblings, like toys on the floor somewhere. And like some little dog prints on the walls, or you know, some childhood drawing, something like that. Yeah, I think this is a good stopping point. I also kind of wish I had looked up a reference image for tree roots, but that's okay. I think I did some solid guesswork. You have any enemy recommendations for the game? Oh man, I had Bojack. Just a character that looks a lot like Bojack that Hazel gets to beat up. But yeah, I think we'll call it a night here. And yeah, if you haven't seen the comic yet, the new page went up today. If you want a sneak peek at the next page, it's up on Coffee for $1. It's also up on Patreon, but we don't have the $1 tier on there, unfortunately, because they won't let us. But yeah, I hope you all have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you next week.